Meeting the Amherst Township Trustees is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
Kish? I have the Amherst Township meeting minutes from January 26, 2021. The meeting was called to order at 7:02 p.m. by Chairman Lynch. Pledge to the flag. Roll call. Abraham, Lynch, Euring, Kish present. Also in attendance are Cerrone, K. Smarsh, G. Lynch, C. Cerny, C. Nyhart, E. Riley, and D. Parsons. 1/9/21, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Euring, to approve the minutes of the January 12, 2021 special meeting as read. All ayes. 1/10/21, motion by Euring, seconded by Abraham, to approve the minutes of the January 12, 2021 regular meeting as read. All ayes. 1/11/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move to approve that the December 2020 credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and is accepted as presented, subject to investigation. All ayes. 1/12/21, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Lynch. Move to approve the bills and financial reports with reservations. All ayes. Fiscal Officer Kish noted that year-end 2020 is complete and all documentation has been filed. Under audience matters, a presentation was made by E. Riley of Rebel Baseball proposing a batting cage between the two fields, 10 feet wide by 12 feet high by 70 feet long. The netting will be retractable and fit into a box. They have a sponsor committed to the funds, so it will be no cost to the township. 1/13/21, a motion by Abraham, seconded by Lynch. Move to approve the Rebel Baseball Rebel Baseball construct a batting cage in Amherst Township as proposed in compliance with the current baseball and township agreement. All ayes. Under correspondence, Fiscal Officer Kish noted that 2 correspondences from the engineer's office, one regarding the light at Middle Ridge and West Ridge roads, would become operational on February 4th, 2021. And secondly, the final payment for Engel Ditch Restoration Phase 2 had been received. Under reports, ambulance none, sheriff none, zoning 1 permit to date. BZA will hold their organizational meeting on January 27th, 2021. Mr. Colin Cerny gave a short overview of his qualifications. 1/14/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Zoning Commission appointment, consideration of appointment of Mr. Colin Cerny as an alternate to the Zoning Commission. Roll call, all ayes. Fire inspector would like to have a meeting with the trustees to discuss potential fees for inspections of new construction. Under road, park, and cemetery, received information on chip and seal program that the county puts on. We'll be getting an estimate for chip and seal of Horniak Street, Tina Lane, and Rice Court, the same roads we did in 2017. Looking into crack seal on K and Linda Drive, have had an estimate come in at $4,800 material and labor. In-house costs would be approximately $3,800 for material only. Provided Class 4 yard waste recycling annual report, and we'll have that sent to the EPA tomorrow. Typical maintenance program in-house. Second 100-ton of salt will be coming this week. Looking to save the last 100-ton delivery for later in the season. Pre-salted roads prior to the predicted ice issue overnight. Under Lorco, OWDA loan approved to connect Cinnamon Lake to West Salem's wastewater system. Under complaints, they are being handled by the designated individual. Under new business, 1/15/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Abraham. Authorization to enter into a sewer service agreement by and between the City of Lorraine for the County 104 sanitary sewer service area. Lynch and Abraham ayes, Euring abstained. There was a consortium meeting held this month which brought up an administrative fee. Trustee Lynch noted that packets contained a copy of an email from Megan Moore, legal counsel for the consortium, regarding changing the current administration fee. Based on discussions at the meeting, a motion was made and seconded to change the quarterly administration fee to 60 cents. The motion is being submitted to each community represented for a yes or no vote. 1/16/21, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Amherst Township representative to the Lorraine County Solid Waste and Recycling Consortium shall vote to reduce the quarterly admin fee from 99 cents per quarter to 60 cents per quarter effective April 1st, 2021. All ayes. Superintendent Smarsh presented a quote to change the lighting out at the Township Hall to LED lighting. There were several breakouts for costs depending for various areas of the Township complex. Additional options included complete fixture replacement or bypassing the ballast and installing LED bulbs in place of the fluorescent bulbs. 11721, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Urick, moved to authorize all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, 2021 Energized Community Grant. All ayes. Trustee Lynch also noted that we receive a $1,500 community event grant from NOPEC. The spring 2020 dumpster day event was canceled due to COVID. NOPEC authorized the township to escrow the amount from 2020. Linda will modify the NOPEC community event grant application for 2021 to include dumpster days and yard waste grinding. We will receive $3,000 this year, but $1,500 of that will be the 2020 grant funds held in escrow. 11821, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Urick, 3-year renewal of memorandum of understanding with Lorraine County Board of Commissioners to participate in emergency notification system. All ayes. Regarding the public hearing for a proposed settlement agreement between the Board of Trustees of Amherst Township and Amherst Consolidated Properties, LLC, and Lorraine County Common Pleas Court case number 20CV200199, Lynch will obtain cost estimates from a vendor to provide options for safely hosting a public hearing with more than 100 attendees during the coronavirus pandemic. Amherst Schools was suggested, and Lorraine County is checking on this option. The date is still February 23rd, 2021. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be held Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 11921, a motion by Urick, seconded by Abraham, to adjourn at 9 p.m. All ayes.
Okay, are there any changes or corrections to the January 26th meeting minutes?
No, I have none.
Not, then can I have a motion to approve as read?
So moved.
Second.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Alrighty, you have the bills in front of you. If you'll notice on the payment listing, there was a negative adjustment. That's because we received a reimbursement of $59.20 for our workman's comp that was paid, and instead of just putting it into the account, you're supposed to adjust it a certain way, so that's what I did. Everything else on there, pretty much.
You've got the largest, the Haynes Construction payment.
Yes.
Is in there.
Yes, that is in your packet as well. Be signed so we can get that to them.
Okay.
Our year-to-date revenue is $103,747.76, and our year-to-date expenditures are $146,464.53.
I think the date passed for property taxes to be in fall.
The 12th?
It might be, I wasn't
Yeah,
sure,
I think
Chris.
it's
I made
February
sure I
12th.
sent mine in right away.
I know, we did too. I believe it's February 12th.
It is.
Okay. All right, well, we'll still have a while. We'll still be deficit spending till we receive that, but.
Middle of March.
Well, before, is there any other questions on the financial reports?
No, I have
All right,
none.
before we approve those, though, Chris did ask for a resolution to make an adjustment to amend our 2021 temporary budget of resources and appropriations, because we did receive from Lorraine County Stormwater District the payment for the Engel Ditch Phase 2 project, and that's how she's paying Haynes Construction out of this by utilizing those funds. So I really like that, and I'll make this a motion, amending the 2021 temporary budget of resource and appropriations due to the receipt of Lorraine County Stormwater District funds for the Engel Ditch Restoration Phase 2 project. And I don't think there's a need to read through this. It's all spelled out. The amount was $82,633.60. And if you look through that, you'll see the attachments that show the increase both in the resources for that amount of the $82,633.60, and also that identical increase in the appropriations there and under the Stormwater Grant Fund. So I'll make this motion as it's printed and presented.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
What's the number on that, Chris? 2-2? And I know you'll do your thing with the auditor on that. And you've also got there, if you're interested, just as backup information with that resolution, was all of the details for the payment and accounting on that project. Pete Zawick from the County Engineer's Office did provide that for us, along with some of the contingencies.
What's the number on that again, if I may?
22?
22?
2221, sorry. And I did contact the gentleman at Haynes Construction. I told him that it would be approved tonight and the check would be in the mail.
Okay, and that's why he wants it in the mail versus picking it up then. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Chris. I'm sure he'll be happy to get paid. It's
I'm
been
sure
a
he will
long,
too.
long project. Okay, so with that, now we'll go back. I'll make a motion to pay the bills and approve the financial reports with reservation.
I'll second it.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Okay, I would welcome everyone here, except it looks like it's just employees tonight. That's a new one. I know Colin had to leave. So we'll move on. Correspondence, David?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
Okay, and Chris, I should have asked you first.
I have none.
Okay, Denny?
Nothing.
All right. Anything I have is going out, and it's part of our packet here. So we'll move on to reports. Ambulance, Denny?
Nothing under ambulance.
Okay, sheriff isn't coming till COVID's over. Zoning, Remy?
We had just one permit for the month so far. That was an accessory building over at Overland Road. Also, the BZA has scheduled an area variance for February the 25th at 7 o'clock.
February the 25th.
Yep, 7 o'clock.
What was it? What did they schedule? A variance?
Area variance.
Thank you.
And specifically, Chris, that's going to be an above-ground swimming pool that's less than 10-foot distance from the, and I don't recall if it was the rear yard or the side yard.
From the rear and
Just-
side yard, yeah.
Once again, that is Thursday the 25th.
Correct.
Okay, roads, parks, and cemetery, Superintendent Smarsh.
Everything's been going along just fine. Been dealing with a lot of snow, ice, road maintenance. Did a round of trash pickup before the last snowstorm to clean out ditches. Other than that, the typical preventative maintenance on the equipment, for the wintertime.
In some ways, this real deep cold helps you to work on the equipment, though, as long as we're not out plowing and salting. I mean, it's like you got a little break here.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as soon as it switches, there'll be potholes.
Oh, yeah. It's already there.
Yeah, and I'm sure you saw the concrete heaved again. It's
Mm-hmm.
not completely stopping doors, but I'm sure we'll see that out here. And just so the trustees are aware, and we'll have probably at our March meeting, it all depends when the cost estimates come in. If you recall, Kevin reported at the last meeting, he was requesting estimates for to chip and seal some roads this year, cooperating with the county engineers program. But, you know, we won't pass that resolution until we have those estimates back. And I know County Engineer Ken Carney's letter indicated he wanted that like the first week in April. So, and I expect we'll get it back in that time. So I put down here judging it'll be sometime in March. And at our meeting, February 23rd, we're going to keep township business to minimum, since you'll see later in the agenda we're going to focus on a public hearing that evening. So I'd really want to keep the minimum what we have to get done that night. Are there any other questions for Kevin?
I have none.
Okay, Township Administrator, Senior Services, Director Ashley.
The NOPEC grant for the $12,000, I did put a request in to have our LED lights approved. I'm still awaiting. I don't know why it's taking so long. It's been like a week and a half already. But as soon as I hear, then Kevin and I will get together and discuss that and what the next steps are. NOPEC grant is similar to our OPWC, where we have to go through the process of we have to get it approved, and then from that point, then we have to ask for disbursements and that kind of stuff, and we have to upload all kinds of paperwork. So it's a little slower process, but it is started. So as soon as we hear something.
Wish they make it simpler like when they started, but I mean, this is just like the stormwater. It's more bureaucratic and cumbersome, but at the same time, you understand why. Because just like we learned in stormwater, when it was real loose, oh, you just call up, send a letter, and the whole bit, but things get missed also. But
Right. So,
I guess that's progress, right?
so that's in the works, and then the $1,500 community event sponsorship grant, that's in the works too. I do have a question out there. There are different steps. It's the same thing. They've changed it all. Now we have to do a community acknowledgement form, then we have to do an organizational acknowledgement form. Just a lot of paperwork, which we didn't have prior. This is the first year they've set it up this way. So I'm going through all those steps, but we should have that. The monies that you had mentioned earlier that Chris had said, the $3,000, NOPEC said they gave that to us last year in February, so we should have gotten a check last February for the $1,500 that we didn't spend on the dumpster days. So we will only get $1,500 from NOPEC this year.
Can we verify that did happen?
I did not verify it because I just talked to her this week and I haven't talked to her.
All right. And Linda, I'm going to ask you to remind me, the annual meeting with NOPEC is typically in November. So possibly in October I may want to have, and we could have discussions with them before that, but there would have to be an official determination possibly at the annual meeting for the community event grant. I think I might suggest to them that for those communities like ours, very small communities that get the minimum, don't give us the same type of requirements in applying for the grant that you do for a larger city that's getting a much larger amount, you know, because you're spending too much time on administration. You know, just like we found on some of those grants we stopped applying for with senior services a while back, because it got to the point we were spending almost as much as the grant money coming in with no guarantee we get the grant. You know, so we don't want to, you know, get a $1,500 grant and spend $500 in administrative cost handling it.
And with the NOPEC, with the sponsorship one, the organizational acknowledgement form does have a lot of stuff on there, like a W-9 form, and what organizations are we using to do this event, what's the cost and all that. So those are all questions that we have no answers to because we're not farming it out.
Right.
We're doing it in-house. So that's my one question. I did email and say, do I really need to fill this out because we're keeping it all in-house? Otherwise, it looks silly when you're putting it through. It's like, well, Amherst Township.
Right. Well, just something to bring up with them.
We did receive $1,500 on the 5th of March.
Okay, yeah, she said 2/21, I believe, was the date they sent it.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as you remind me early, but I can, we can talk with those guys sooner. Obviously, we're not going down to the OTA Winter Conference where they're always present there, and sometimes it's a little easier because you have all the leadership available and they're both formally through the vendor program, but then informally afterwards to sit on. They're usually pretty open to discussions. And sometimes that's an easier format than when you're in a big hall and there's 1,000 people there from all different communities.
And it would be easier for us, the smaller communities.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of smaller communities in there too that, there's some real small ones, even smaller than us, and we're getting the minimum. And that's, that was a decision that was made that, well, each community should get at least a minimum, otherwise it was all going the few large communities. And they also need the small communities to vote even to have that. And obviously, if you're getting nothing, I think you know what your vote will be.
So they
And
are
your
both-
vote's as equal as the big guy.
So both of them are in the works. It's just a
Okay.
matter of having things processed and waiting. And then, as far as the lease, you guys signed that this evening. I will be giving Dennis a copy next door, and then David requested a copy, so I'll make sure he gets a copy in his box. And then
Okay,
I'll put that
great.
in the file.
Okay.
We're all set.
I appreciate you
Appreciate it.
taking care of those and doing the administration. That takes it off of Kevin's plate too, and getting this done. But, this will be a good project this year.
It will be a good project once we get everything approved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Linda, can I ask verification?
Yes.
The NOPEC grant has been submitted for the LED lights, you're just waiting to hear back?
I have submitted it. We have to wait for approval.
And then the community grant, you're completing it right
I'm completing it.
Thank you.
Yes.
now? Sorry, thank you.
We're waiting for
Okay.
some answers.
And then Kevin, if you see Linda, I did find the business cards for the gentleman I had mentioned at the last meeting. Okay, and that's not to change this, but we're gonna have in the future years, to look at. It just might give you another option, because that's, at least at that time, that was his only business. And I can't speak to his credentials or anything like that. He came and gave a presentation at one of Lorraine County Township Association meetings. It's at least 2 years ago. It might have been 3, and I can't recall. And that was a non-NOPEC member. He was just there pushing it to save cost on energy, in there. Because I do recall telling him, hey, what we find out, our cost is really the cost of replacement and maintenance, more so than the energy, because most of the time the lights are off. Okay, we'll move on to complaints. We know the first one's on hold. Complaints are really down here. And Remy, you don't have any. You usually have a large number there. There was one that came through the website. I didn't get it on here. I assume you would have just contacted the person. Is it possible, can you send something out to all of us? Because Chris sends that notice to us that here someone asked for information, but we never know in closing the loop, have they been contacted? If you can just let us know it's taken care of, okay?
Make sure you reply to them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can reply to them, and you don't have to include us on that, but you can let us know it was either taken care of, resolved, and we know that you're just dealing with the zoning ones, that it may not always be to their satisfaction, but at least you made the contact and explained to them, or let them know where they need to go to get the information they're asking for,
Right.
okay? All right, then, before we move on to new business, for the standing items that are assigned varying responsibilities there for the other trustees, anything to bring up at this evening's meeting?
No, I have nothing.
David, anything on solid waste?
I would just add that the policy committee met today. Just a couple items that were covered. They're still planning to have Pride Day, except for the third Saturday in May.
When is that, David?
Third Saturday in May. Tentatively, I believe it's the 15th, they said. of May, still gonna have Pride Day, something to think ahead on. The district is in the process of renegotiating the host community agreement. They're already, the district is already into its, I believe it's its second extension of the agreement, 1-year extension of the agreement. This will be a new 5-year host community agreement. And starting in August, be another planning cycle. We're going to have to start a new plan update. And the next meeting will be in April. There were some of the items that were touched at the meeting to be aware of.
Did you want to mention the waste hauling and recycling consortium change in administrative fee, what the results were there?
Yes, I believe that passed.
Okay. And
They'll be going down.
yeah, I don't recall if I emailed that out or not. It will definitely be in the newsletter, but the administrative fee, the quarterly fee, will be reduced from 99 cents to 60 cents. Megan Moore, the legal counsel, was going to try and get that as soon as possible in the next quarterly bill. I know I just received my Rumpke bill I'm not sure if it was Monday or Saturday. I know I already paid it, and it still has the original one, so hopefully the next bill will have the reduced one. If not, it'll have to be the one after that. Realize there's 2 different contractors, because we've got Kimball and Rumpke serving different communities here, and they both have to make those adjustments, and their billing cycles may be slightly different. So hopefully they both get changed in the next quarterly statement that you see. Okay, we'll move on then for the new business.
Linda's got a question.
Oh,
I
I'm
just
sorry.
have a real quick question.
Yeah.
Or a reminder, actually. The mini grant for stormwater is due, I believe, March
March.
21st.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
coming up, so just to keep that in your mind.
Right. Yes, yeah.
Oh, I got one other comment or question I was going to ask Chris. I never heard from Chris. Did we ever get our solid waste money for 2020?
I believe for 2020,
Yeah, for the end of the year. In December.
there's some sort of check that came in today's mail, but I don't know if it's for 2020 or if it's for.
Is
is
it
it
solid
back?
waste money?
Pardon?
Is it solid waste?
I believe it is.
Then it's for 2020.
Yes, we just got it in today's mail.
Okay.
I just got it.
And Chris, if it's $9,180.90.
Sounds, I think it was 9,000. I know it was 9,000.
Okay. Okay, under new business is, I want to discuss the public hearing regarding case number 20 CV 200199. That's a settlement agreement with Amherst Consolidated Properties. We definitely are going to go forward on February 23rd. This was getting too difficult, getting another location and dealing with other entities. So I did have discussion with the prosecutor's office on this. I talked with Kevin Moore through text. I don't think I talked with him. I tried to reach him, but Kevin's agreed, and I know it puts a burden on him, is we're going to clear out at least 2 bays in the garage. We will set it up to see what we can do to maintain social distance for, in compliance with the health department and CDC guidelines for the coronavirus. We will also have people up in the hall in this area. We will open the doors at 6 o'clock. When we reach capacity, we will close the doors. We're not going to allow additional people in. Now, we will need township people to help as people come in, because there are some variants of that. If a couple come in, or people from the same household, they can sit right together. Well, obviously that might increase our capacity. because we will set it up as if it's all individuals. But we know at the last hearing, there were people from a family unit that had also come in. So there'll be some judgment in that. We're hoping that it won't be as crowded as the last time. There are letters that were mailed out yesterday. I believe it was 43 letters to abutting property owners, notifying them of the hearing and encouraging them to participate virtually from their home. Or they can sit out in the parking lot and go from their phone, which, whatever screen device they prefer to use, and they'll be able to see the whole hearing and they'll be able to participate in the hearing. We're also going to need a township person to help actually, and it will be Zoom. And you'll see when we go through the cost estimate here. And I'm going to recommend we just buy the month-to-month basis, but if you guys want to buy a year subscription, we can do that also. But we'll need somebody to actually run the meeting, because what will happen for those that are not physically present, if we exceed that capacity, we may not. But if for those that aren't physically present, we will have them all muted as it's going on, and then they can electronically raise their hand if we know who wants to participate, and whoever we have actually running the electronic portion of the virtual meeting will select the individuals one at a time so that they can comment, and those comments we'll be able to hear through our audio system here at the Township Hall, regardless of where they're at. The plan is that first we'll explain the structure of the meeting. We'll have the developer give their presentation. And if you actually dig through here, you'll see I've got an agenda here. Maybe I should follow the agenda. Realize we will have like a regular meeting. So we'll open up a meeting, similar to the way we would do any other public hearing. Then what we'll do is recess that meeting. So we won't be doing the financials initially, Chris. If we've got things that we need to do, we'll save those till the end. So we'll open the meeting and then begin the public hearing at 7 o'clock. Or it'll actually be at roughly 7:19 after the 19 seconds after the Pledge of Allegiance. So the developer will have 45 minutes allotted to present their case. Then we'll have an hour allotted for public comment. Don't know if we'll need it, but there's an hour there. The last meeting, we used more than an hour. Then there's 5 to 10 minutes for comments from the trustees. Then we'll return to the regular meeting, most likely take action that night. I don't know for certain, because you don't know what might come up, that the developer might say, you know what, that was missed, or we can accommodate that. But if it requires some adjustment to the agreement, that will have to be changed and then taken back through the courts. So then we'll end the public hearing, go back into our regular meeting, and if we got to take the minimum business, we'll get that done and then clear things out. We needed to get timing here because that timing impacted the cost estimate. If you look there's an email correspondence here. It's a whole string, and I only gave what the current cost estimate is, which would be for all of the equipment rental, and this includes 1 month of the Zoom software subscription. This will be the Pro version. The reason we had to go to the Pro version is to make sure we can accommodate over 100 people and also over 45 minutes in length. And the option here that for the trustees, it's either $15 a month or $150 for a year. Now, we don't know what this, coronavirus pandemic's going to be. We don't know when the state legislatures, how they might change things in terms of virtual meetings. Right now, that's kind of like a temporary thing they keep extending. So I would suggest we just pay the month at the $15. We're not talking a huge savings. You're talking $30 if you pay for a year. I'm really hoping that this will be over before then and we can all go back to normal. And we typically don't have meetings, that are that large anyway. And there's nothing, Remy, you don't know of anything on the horizon of anything major in terms of changes in land use that would generate a lot of public interest, do you?
No, nothing that I know of.
Okay. So I don't see where, after this, that we'll really have any huge issue coming up. But, we're talking, this is going to be worst case just under $1,000. That also includes a test date, and I'm going to ask some of you to participate in that. So there'll be some people at home, some people in here. We want to make sure a couple days ahead of time that everyone understands their roles and we've worked out any kinks that might be in there to minimize any disruptions that might occur on the night of the meeting. You've also got attached to that schedule on the back, you'll see the section of the ORC that applies to 505.07, and you've got a copy of the notice that went out to the abutting property owners. The legal notice was published in the Chronicle yesterday, and Linda, thanks for getting that all done, and I did check the paper, it did run.
Yes, I saw it too.
Okay. So, and I think they only did we only pay for one day, that's all we get. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on this?
No, I do not.
David?
I have no questions right now.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, this came to my mind. Did you figure in maybe in that room a few people
I did not.
could stand by the door if the doors were open? We might be able to increase 3 or 4 people.
They might. We can look at it. We'll try and accommodate as many as we can. We just, we won't know till they start responding, and we've got on here to call in, so Linda will be receiving the calls. Oh, the other thing I missed, it's also on the website. If you go to the Amherst Township website, the public hearing announcement is there, and a copy of the settlement agreement is there. There are copies here. I didn't check. Were you able to get one in the box, or is it too big?
I didn't yet, no.
Okay.
I have not looked at it yet.
Yeah, we put that we'll get one outside for somebody, they can see it, but the law says you have to have one in the office of the fiscal officer, so there'll be one inside. But I'm really hoping that when people see it's on the website, that as long as they have internet access, they can view it there, just to minimize interaction with employees in here. And the one in the box might be cumbersome. Originally, we weren't going to do that. We were going to have them come inside and just view it electronically on the screen. But even with that, I figured if somebody's coming here, it's already somebody that's not, has no technology knowledge whatsoever, which would mean we're going to have somebody sit with them anyway. Probably better to put it in the box, let them decide if they want to take the risk of handling things. What you guys did see the email, based on the CDC's knowledge and recommendations now, they don't believe handling, surfaces and handling paper is as a big concern as it was before. So unless somebody sneezes on something or decides to lick the corner of the page and hand it immediately to someone else, they should be fairly safe. But I really don't know that they'll even come up, because I think the vast majority of people will be able to see it on the website. Plus, you can blow it up and see it much clearer there than even on the paper. The paper's pretty small on the diagrams. So, but yeah, David, we can look at that when they come in and see how it goes.
Yeah. And even stick a few people in the kitchen or
Okay.
something like that. I mean, that's all square footage that we might be able to put a couple people there.
Okay. But anyway, that's where we're at. So is there any other business?
No, I have none.
Okay, so our next meeting will be on Tuesday, February 23rd. There will also be a public hearing, and I'd also ask that the trustees keep this Thursday morning open, like that 7:30, all depends. Just in the event we're able to have a meeting with the county engineer. What I'm hoping is that if he can meet that day, if not, as Linda's pointed out, it's got to be soon. But I'd also like to propose to Pete Zawick that we back into this project, since to me it's getting late, and you've seen the emails have been sent to him well early, I'm sure well before any other community requested help, and I haven't had any real response to it. Trying to give him as much time as he wants, so since there's been no response, if they're under pressure to get it done, that's not my issue. But where we can back into it, we can say, okay, Pete, this is how much we're willing to financially contribute. You figure out the engineering, how much, based on stormwater funding we could get, how much can you design for that? Or, as opposed to firm bids, do we ask for proposals that show us what you can do in the work under these parameters, these specifications, how far can you go, type thing. But we'll see, that's just an approach. I just want to have a discussion with them so that something gets moving and that you guys can ask any questions you may have on this also.
That's 7 o'clock this Thursday, the 11th.
This Thursday, yes,
Right.
and I'll call you guys one way or the other on that.
Okay. I have it
Chris,
down.
that's not something you'd have to be at, but, obviously Kevin, we'd be looking for you to be there. Okay? All right, is there any need for an executive session?
No, sir, I do not have.
Any other
any.
comments? Okay, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Abraham,
Yes.
Keurig,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.